Hey there, welcome to this acrylic painting lesson. I'm Mike Ferris. Today's lesson, I'm going to go over this bubble painting here that you see, and I'm going to go over all the details, contrasting elements between bokeh, which is that out of focus blurry stuff in the background, and all the details of the bubbles. Don't forget to check out the description box for tools and materials and all the colors that I'll be using. I do have these right here. These are some cardboard pieces that I cut out, and I made my circles to trace out my bubbles, as you can see here. Make them any size, put them wherever you want on your canvas. So with that said, let's jump in and let's do this. I'm going to be starting on my 11 by 14 inch stretch canvas here, and I did gesso it just to give it some texture to pull the paint off the brush very easily. And let's see, on my palette I'm going to have some phthalo blue, raw umber, burnt umber, this is violet, permanent red, light magenta, cat orange, yellow medium, and titanium white as always. Okay, so I'm going to take my 3/4, or actually my 1-inch flat brush here. It's kind of beat up, but it's just going to be used to cover ground and just kind of block some things in for now. And I'm going to start off, I'm going to take some titanium white. Let's see, and I'm going to get a little bit of yellow, not much at all, just a teeny bit. I'm going to get a very, very small, like a pin drop of orange. Okay, not much at all. If I go too much, it will eat up my whole world. Help, I don't want to eat up my whole world. I just want to get some, just a teeny bit of a hue of it in there just to get this light kind of peach color going. Okay, I'm thinking something like this. Okay, a little bit more white into that. And I'm going to start at the top here and just kind of bring this down. Again, as you can see, no traceable. And you can see it's got sort of a very light kind of peach yellow kind of hue. Exactly what I'm looking for on this. Okay, I'm just going to bring this down, just kind of something like this. Okay. And let's see. Maybe I'll bring it down a little bit more. I'm going to get a little bit more paint on my brush here. Okay, it doesn't have to be perfect, exact. I can cover over anything, especially a light value like this. If it's too far down, it's all good. Okay, just going to run that out to about right here, maybe about 1/3 of the way down the canvas. And now, without cleaning, I'm going to wipe most of that paint off the brush. I'm just going to take, and let's see, I'm going to get some raw umber. Okay, just like that. A good scoop. I'm going to get some titanium white, or not titanium white, yellow medium. I don't want any white actually in this right now. This is a dark value I'm going to be blocking in with, okay? I'm going to get a little bit of phthalo blue. That'll just give it some more of a dark tone to it, okay? Kind of like this, maybe a little bit more yellow just to kind of give it somewhat of a green kind of army hue to it. Army green hue, I should say. Okay, something like that. Just something kind of dark. And what I'm going to do is just kind of block in for now some general values and place things where they generally go. And let's see, I'm going to map out, let's see, right here on the background for the foliage and the brush. And I'm going to take it down just kind of like this. Okay, just somewhat at an angle. And let's see, I'm going to go about halfway down the canvas. And I think I'm going to go something like, I don't know, just kind of something like this. Okay, this is going to be like a bunch of bushes and brush, so I'll just fill this section in right here, okay? Doesn't have to be exact. This is just backgrounds. It's really about the bubbles. And this is super freestyle. You can put the bubbles anywhere. You can make your background start and stop with brush, wherever and however, because it's going to be blurred out, as you saw with the bokeh, all the bokeh effects there. And it's going to be really about the in-focus bubbles that are going to pop off of this blurry background with all the bubble details and all the shine, and it's going to look awesome. And so however you want to lay this out, it's all good because it's going to look awesome no matter what. Okay, I'm going to get a little bit more blue into that raw umber. Okay, I want this a little bit darker. You can see a little bit darker than this. I like to mix values right next to each other so that I can see just how different they're going to be or not. Okay, so a little darker. As you can see here, it's got a little bit of a blue hue. Let's see. I'm going to grab some more paint on the brush here. Okay, a little bit of yellow is in there. all good. Okay, just something kind of dark. And again, I don't want to use permanent black for things on a landscape because it's not as natural looking, I don't think, as if I mix blue and brown together to get my black, which is really a dark Payne's gray. Just find that's more natural looking. I don't know, it's more realistic. Okay? Black is kind of more for dramatic and cartoony, and I don't know, just kind of does something a little different, I think. But definitely use what tones you want to use. It's all good. There's no right or wrong. Okay, so with this same value, I'm going to go black. I'm going to go blue and brown again for black. That's what I meant to say. All right, something fairly dark. Okay. A little bit more brown to kind of get rid of the blue hue, just a little bit more and get it more darkened. Okay, something like this. And I want to kind of go over here and make the indication of a tree. So I'm going to push kind of hard right here. Okay, just kind of something like this. I'm going to bring it down to about right there. Okay, I'm not worried about how neat this is at all. I don't care how neat it is. All right, let me get a little bit more brown into that. See if I can darken that still further. Ah, yeah, see, a little bit of brown. And we kind of darken this up a little bit. So just the right mixture of blue and brown, I can get a dark value. Okay, so something like that maybe, and then maybe it comes over, kind of does, I don't know, something over here like this. I don't know. However you want to do this, okay? I'm just kind of leaving some rough edges here, okay? Tapping out, because I'm going to blur out all this stuff, and it's easier to have jagged, rough edges like that I can then use my natural bristles on to get that fuzzy effect. Okay, this side too. And it's going to get that out of focus effect going really well like that. Okay, just a little bit of tree there. And let's see, maybe over here, here's something else that's kind of doing this. I don't know. However, it's just background. Okay, however you want to do it. Okay, I don't care. Just like that. All right. Gotta laugh sometimes. Hopefully you're laughing a lot, and I like to liken it to how a dog would be, you know, more wag, less bark. Let's just say that. All good, okay? No need to trip on anything. Now, what I'd like to do is, again, take that brown and let's get a good scoop of yellow this time. I really want this army kind of green hue, okay? Kind of like this, get a little bit more of this brown in there. Okay, really loading up this brush, like super. Okay, and just gonna go in here and I'm gonna fill all this in. This is gonna be just base color for now and shadow color that I'm gonna build on top of for all of my grass and all of the different yellows and tones of green to make everything pop out of this. Okay, of course leaving some of this background so that it shows shadow in between some things. Okay, so just like that, super easy. Just getting paint on the brush. And just kind of something like this. I want to leave just a teeny gap. This shows the difference between where the grass is and where this background bushes and brush kind of come up and where the tree is going to be involved. And I just kind of want to leave that there just to kind of map out where I'm going to be. Again, it's all good. You don't have to be perfect on, this isn't really a map out kind of a painting. There's no traceable needed. It's really simple. There's just a general blurred out background or a blurred out landscape that's going to be happening. Okay, I'll even kind of fill some of it in. I just want it barely showing, so it's enough to see where I want things. Okay, see, just kind of like that. I'm just going to leave that. I'm going to take some of this brush up into here. Okay, just kind of something like this. Just kind of getting the indication of this bush kind of deal going up here. Okay, see that? Just kind of tapping it, and I'm gonna fuzz this out with the natural bristles. So Again, it doesn't have to be all anything specific. Okay, just kind of tapping, getting this little foliage kind of showing up here, in here, over here. Okay, I can even tap, 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 and just kind of do this. Okay, see that? And I got these things happening. Okay, so something like that. I know it looks great. Super masterpiece. And I'm gonna go ahead and let this dry for now. And when it does, I'll be able to put all the different values that are gonna pop off of this, and I'll be able to build this up, and I won't have to worry about all of this background base color blending into the stuff that I want vibrant. So I'll be back in just a moment. Okay, we're back, and it's fairly dry. I mean, it's a little sticky, but I'm gonna work up here where it's a lot more dry than down here. So this will dry while I'm up here. It's all good. I've got my number 7 hog brush, or natural flat bristle brush here. I'm gonna go ahead with this brush. I'm gonna go ahead and start working over here and trying to get more of these things going. So I'm gonna go into that yellow and brown again. Okay, just a little bit of paint. You can see I'm just tapping a lot of it off. Okay, just a little bit of paint on the brush. And the key to this is a very dry brush, absolutely no water. And this is what is gonna make these effects when I go really dry like this. So I'm just gonna say like this, okay, just kind of stirring it, and just see how that just gives that impression right away of just an out of focus blurry effect. It's kind of like it's fading off, and that's what it's all about. That's how we get that effect. And these brushes, I find, are the best ones to use for this. And of course you can use a regular nylon brush if you just go really light pressure, and you can get those fuzzy blended lines and do the same thing. But with this, you really don't even have to be that good at blending or anything. These brushes just automatically give you this look. And if you put just a teeny bit of paint on the brush at a time, and of course, like I said, dry brush, it's very easy to do this. You don't even have to really know much about blending or be all that good at it. These brushes will just do it for you. It's such a really cool way. Okay, so as you can see, just kind of doing something like this. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and clean this brush now. Okay, now what I want to do is I want to grab a little bit of orange, and I want to grab some yellow. Okay, let's see, a little bit more orange maybe. And this time I want to get a little bit of burnt umber to that, just to dull it. Okay, that does something to that. Okay, so it's like this dulled down kind of a peach color. Most of that color I'm wiping off my brush now because I want to get titanium white. And as you can see, a nice peachy light color like this. Okay, again, wiping a lot of that paint off the brush. And I want to go in here, and I want to add some of this around some of these edges in here, and watch, it's just going to set it off and make it look like the sun's hitting and glowing through these trees here. See that? Just these little things, these little subtle things I'm going to build up, and it's just going to do this magnificent glow effect in this way. Okay, just like this. And before I go any further with this glowing light, what I want to do now is I want to take a little bit of this yellow, and it's got that burnt umber in it already, so I already got my duller in there. And I want to take a little blue. Okay, I'm looking for a green. I want to add this brown in there just a little bit. Okay, maybe a little white to brighten that, just a teeny bit. Okay, maybe something kind of like this. Get a little bit more blue and yellow in there for some more color. Okay, just to kind of bring it up a little bit. Okay, kind of something like this. I'm thinking I can always adjust these colors and go on top of them and change them. And so I want to put some of this color in here. See that? Kind of gives this brush indication and the leaves on the trees here in the background. It just kind of something like this. And of course, every time I build a new layer, it's all this junk, this mess that I want to call it, it's going to smooth out and the effects are going to get better. The vibrant colors are going to become more visible and it's just going to get smoother and more realistic looking. So I'm not concerned with how neat everything looks in that first couple layers. It's really just not supposed to look good yet. And it's just the nature of acrylics. So I'm going to keep building up these layers. Okay, more yellow. I'm going to make it more vibrant, as you can see here. It brings out the color more and you can see it better. And let's see, I want to go just kind of something like this. Okay, let's apply some of that in here. So I'm going to play these values in. As you can see, I'm going to have these tones of green. I'm going to have this darker stuff. I'm going to have this glowing light on the outsides where the sun's hitting it. And I'm going to have some white that I'm going to put in here to brighten some things here and there. I mean, it's just all going to build up and come together. And I'm going to have all these values playing together in such a great way. And it's really just going to take off and do what it does. Okay, so as you can see already, it's starting to take effect already. And that's all there is to it. That's all you have to do. Just a few little things and you can really create something out of nothing just like this. You totally go for it. I'm telling you, it'll work. And it's going to be beautiful. And let's see, let's run some of this in here. There's some brush little indications. Okay, something like that maybe. You're just kind of getting some of these things laid in here, even though this might not be the final color. It says that there's some brush showing from the light hitting it here, but maybe not right here so much because it's in a shadow. Okay. And I'll even cover up some of this canvas showing, as you can see here. Okay, just like that. Just like this. All right. This is going to be one of the easiest paintings you probably ever did. I'm telling you, this is like anything goes. This blurry stuff, there's no details. It's blurred out, of course. And you can do anything you want and cover anything at any time, and anything will work. I mean, anything you do will look good on top of this dark background. Okay, just doing these little things. Look, I can even look away and just la la la. I don't know where I just put it. Oh, right there. Okay. Anything. You don't have to have a plan. You can just do whatever you want. All right. So let's see. I'm going to continue this value down and just kind of map out stuff. I'll adjust them. I'll brighten some up with more yellow. I'll add some white. I'll add some dark and maybe cover back some of it. I don't know. Just kind of getting these things laid out. Okay. With a general color for now, and I'll adjust them. Okay. So when I adjust the colors and have different values playing together, of course, that's what makes it realistic and gives all the different light effects on how light hits brush. Maybe it's more green, maybe it's really bright yellow because the light's hitting it really strong, and then of course dark because light's not getting to it all the way, and that just really brings out its fullness and all of its depth and dimension that way. Okay, so as you can see, just here and there, not everywhere. Just running this in, and of course anything I don't like, I'll take a dark value, knock it back, all or some or whatever, and vice versa. I can put this back in if I cover too much of it up again. Okay. Just play it back and forth, have fun. And look at it, it's already just starting to pop out of there and look like brushed and everything like it should. All right, so without cleaning, I'm gonna take some yellow. Okay, again, tapping a lot of the paint off the brush. And in some places, let's see, I'm gonna go with the corner of the brush. I'm just gonna do these little circular things. These are the bokeh light kisses, see, like that. Let's see, we'll have some up here. Okay, see that? Maybe I'll put one right there. Okay, covering them up if I don't like them. All good, doesn't matter. Okay, different sizes, different stuff. Maybe right here I can go, string of them, I don't know. Okay, however. And then of course, as you can see, when I surround this tree here with this brighter stuff, it shows the tree more and it brings it out. And I'm going to go ahead and darken this actually at some point with another coat with that blue and brown. It'll make it even darker and bring it out more, and it'll make it pop really well against these brighter values here. Okay, it just brings it out more. Okay, now I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back into some of this value. I'm going to get a little bit more orange now. I'm not cleaning my brush. Okay, just going to get some orange. Okay, a little bit more. All right. Okay, see that? I don't really need to clean all the time. I can just adjust my values right there. And let's see, I want to go some of this value. See that? Very light pressure with the brush, and these natural bristles will just, I can pet the canvas and it just makes these things really awesome like this. See that? And of course you can use a round brush or a smaller brush if you want to make smaller bokeh light and effects this way. It's all good. Okay, just kind of something like this. Alright, how about that? It already looks like light coming in. It looks like brush starting to take effect. Okay, maybe I'll have one going off the canvas there. I don't know. Okay, I'm going to wipe a lot of that paint off the brush, and what I'm going to do now is I want to take some white, okay, without cleaning. Okay, just a teeny bit of paint like this, see that? Okay, and I kind of want to just go over this stuff very lightly like this. Okay, just glazing this haze over some of this brush here. And let's see, let's go a little bit more of this color actually. I want to put more of that orange back in there. There we go, see that? A little bit more color, there we go. And I just kind of want to glaze over this. I don't want to take over all of this. But as you can see, you can still see the bokeh lights, and you can of course see the dark value behind it. This just really gives it a nice glow and the effect and the impression of light shining through these bushes like this. This is exactly what I want to accomplish. This is going to really give such a nice look to this when it's done. All right. And of course, knock it back some if it's too much, or if it's messy, I'll just get some dark value involved. Okay, so something like that, and I think I am going to go to some of that dark value here. Okay, just a little bit. And look at, I can knock this back and break up some of this, open some of it up, leaving some of it, and it shows shadow and depth and light kind of bouncing through the bushes here. Some of it's not getting hit, but some of it is, and it shows the fullness of the bushes this way and all the foliage. Okay, just like that. All right, let's see. I don't know, somewhere. Okay, I'm gonna clean this brush to get that dark value out of there now, because I want to go back to my light, warm colors here to really brighten this up some more. Again, drying this natural bristle brush off. I'm gonna take this raw umber and phthalo blue together. Okay, no other colors involved, so this is going to be really dark now. The darkest value in this whole piece right here. And I just really want to, I don't want to take over all the fuzzy edges out here. Of course, I just want to go in the middle between the fuzziness. Okay, just kind of fuzz this out towards those fuzzy lines. That makes sense. Okay, see that? And I can get all these cool things going. Okay, just kind of brings us in better. See that? Another coat on top of what I did, and now we see it more saturated, darker, all that good stuff. So let's bring this down actually. Just like that. Okay, maybe some of it in here. Okay, see? Now the tree is more visible, yet it's still blurred out. Okay, just like that. And we in business. All right. Okay, so just applying this in here, making it look like branches back here. Okay, doesn't have to be all perfect and everything. Again, blurred out means no details. Just scratching in somewhat of a mess here and using this mess to make something really cool out of it. Ain't that nice? All right. Sweet, 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 sweet. Okay. Cleaning this brush again because I want that dark value out of there because I want to go back to my light warm colors and really ramp up the shine and the glow on this thing. I'm going to go to my number 8 natural round bristle brush because this is going to be a lot easier to get those bokeh light effects, and this is what I want to focus on right now, is doing that. So what I'd like to do is take this orange value again. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get some more color into that. I'm going to get some more orange, some more yellow. Okay, and let's get some white. Okay, something super duper. Okay, like that. A little bit of paint on the brush again, and I'm going to do these circular motions, of course, with this round brush and get those nice circular things going. Okay, and just kind of doing these. See that? All right, let's go in here. There's one right here. I can even tap to get them filled in more if they don't fill in all the way. And of course, if you get a hole or a place that's not filling in, just let it dry. Don't even fight that. Not even worth it. Okay, and let's get some more orange actually, and a little bit more burnt umber to that. Okay, more orange, more white, more burnt umber. Okay, a little bit more yellow. The yellow really ramps it up and gives it that warm glow to it, okay, and that light peach color. See, like this. Okay, again. And let's go again. Okay, playing more values, more layers. I want to get a little bit more orange into that. Not much, just a little bit. Okay, and let's get a little bit more white to desaturate that down. Maybe a little bit more yellow. Okay. Maybe something like this. Okay, a little bit more of a peachy color to it. All good, and let's see. There we go. Okay. Okay, a little bit more orange, actually. And let's try this again. Okay, something like this. Okay, and doing these circles, these circular things, see that? Kind of makes it look like there's some white bokeh light things coming through here, see that? As I come down here on this part here, I want to get just a little bit more orange and yellow to make that more saturated, okay? And let's see, I'm going to come down here like this. Okay, just very, very little pressure with this thing and just letting those natural bristles do their thing. Okay, just like that. And it's all good. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and clean this brush. So when I put values down and then I put like yellow on top of stuff, it's actually going to show the other color through that yellow. So I'm not going to mix yellow with anything. I'm just going to take it straight up. Okay, just regular yellow medium. Just like that. And again, very little paint on the brush. And I want to go in here these glowing things and these shines. Okay, there's that, and then there's and what I'd like to do is I'd like to take some more of this white and some of this color, but I want it desaturated down a little bit more and brighter, so more white into that. You can see it's a really muted peach color here. And I'm going to go up here and do these bokeh light things up here. See that? Okay, like that. See that? I'm actually going to get a little bit more peach color into that, actually. Okay, and just kind of mixing it up. See that? Okay, here and there, not everywhere, just wherever. Okay, cleaning this brush. So I'm just going to grab just pure titanium white. And I'm going to go in here with this. Okay, I don't want to cover up all this dark stuff. I want to leave some of that. Okay, like that. See that? Okay, just kind of like that. And if I go lighter with the brush and I don't push as hard, I can get more transparent. And of course, a little bit heavier pressure and I get more opaque. So just kind of mixing that up. Okay, it's all about the differences and the mix-up playing together. You don't want everything the same, of course. Okay, now here's where I want to get a little bit brighter here. I want to go in here and really zing in. Kind of do these things like this. See that? Okay. Now what I want to do is actually, without cleaning, I'm going to wipe most of that paint off the brush as much as I can. I'm just going to take, again, this dark value. Okay. A little bit of blue and black, or blue and brown, sorry, and some yellow. And what I'd like to do is actually come in here and kind of knock back some of this. And the reason is because I really want to contrast the glow coming out of the sun that's really illuminating this whole area right here and make that super duper bright. And I feel like if I put some dark around this, I'm going to get that effect to pop just a little bit more and a lot more dramatic. Okay, see that? I can cover over, and I can go very lightly over this and just settle it down so it's not so much, so it's not showing so much. And maybe it's kind of fading off like this. See, I don't have to do the whole thing, but see, kind of something like that. There we go. Then it kind of puts the eyes back up here. See that shine just coming out of there? All right, that's really what I'd like to see there. All right, I'm going to go ahead and clean this off again. And I want to take some more of this peachy color here. And once again, I want to surround some of this up and through here a little bit, okay? Kind of show these things happening. All right, and let's see. And I think what I want to do, actually I want to add just a little bit more orange to that. Not much, just a little. And as it gets down here, just a little bit more of that orange value involved. Okay, kind of like that. Okay, just kind of brushing this out, glazing the rest of that paint off the brush. Okay, just lightly over this darker stuff here. Okay, see that? Just really gives a nice effect out of there. All right, I like that. I'm gonna go ahead and proceed forward. And I'm gonna go ahead and clean this brush off now. Okay, so I'm gonna start doing the grass area. I'm gonna do some really cool effects with just different values of greens and yellows and different tones. And of course, bokeh lights on top of it here and there. It's really gonna bring this out and pop this super well. And so what I'm gonna do actually now is I'm gonna take some of this blue here, some of this yellow. I want a general green tone here. Okay, just getting that extra bristle that came out there out of there. Okay. All right, something like this. Okay, just something general. And I want to apply that right here. Okay, just kind of bring this up to the base of this tree here. Okay, just kind of something like this and just kind of blend it off. See that? Again, this blended look gives it the impression that it's a little, or I'm sorry, it's out of focus. All right, I'm gonna get some titanium white now into that. And I'm gonna get some more yellow. In fact, let's see, more yellow. I wanna get a brighter, kind of vibrant green. And this is gonna show some light kind of hitting it right here. Okay, and I'm doing a circular motion, of course, because that gives it that bokeh look. Like all the bokeh lights that are just kind of joined together in one clump right here, just kind of happening. Okay, see that? Now we get these cool things, and let's see. I'm just going to work this same value over here. Okay, I don't know, just kind of working this grass. Kind of doing these things. Of course, covering up anything I don't like, it's all good. Okay, and let's see. I'm gonna go ahead and get some yellow now, a good scoop of that. Let's get some titanium white into that. Okay, something like this. Something super light. All right, let's see. All right, and I'm gonna work this in right in here. Okay, and I'm just kind of getting base color for now. I'm not worried about, I'm gonna get a little bit more yellow actually. There we go. And it's got some of that green left in my brush, so it's all good. Okay, right up in here. Kind of leaving some dark between this value and this value. It shows shadow and depth in the grass. It gives it some realism in that sort of way. Okay, where the light's really hitting the grass the strongest, it's going to be more bright like this. You can see it's all good. Okay, I want some of this dark to show through. Totally what I'm looking for. Okay, just kind of stirring this up. Getting that placed where it needs to go. Okay, all good. Don't have to worry about how neat something is. It's all gravy. Okay, a little bit heavy on the paint there, so I'm going to wipe some of that off and just kind of work with what's here. And if you get too much paint, just wipe it off if you can, or whatever. Let it dry. Come back in with darker values, knock it back. Or another green value, it's all good. Okay. Just bringing this in, just kind of like so. Okay, just kind of splitting it off. You'll get some holes, maybe let that dry. Don't fight that, it's all good, it'll happen. It will happen, Acrylics does that. No big deal. Okay, cleaning this brush off, getting all that paint off. I'm gonna go back to my number 7 natural flat bristle brush here. I wanna make some like little indications of blades of grass with this, but in a bokeh way. Okay, and so I want to get those colors again. Let's get a little bit of blue with that yellow again. Okay, looking for that general green, maybe a little bit more blue. Okay, blue, phthalo blue, it really gives a vibrance to the green. I really love the way this works. Okay, something like that. Okay, just a little bit of paint on the brush. And let's see. I'm gonna go like that and just kind of work this around. Okay. If there's something too out of whack, again, I can take this dark value and thin one of these down if the blade of grass is too thick or whatever, or if it's at the wrong angle, cover it, make it the right angle, do whatever you like to do and make it look how you want it to look. And it's all good. See, just like so. Leaving some of this shadow color, of course, not covering all of it, or I'll lose my depth and dimension that way. Okay, so just kind of like this. Okay, I'm going to take my number 7 natural flat bristle brush again, and let's go back into some raw umber and get a little phthalo blue in that to darken it. Okay, looking again for that dark value. Here for the background, lots of paint off the brush, barely any at all, and just want to come in here and just kind of lightly brush in some dark stuff here. I want to do like this little contrast here where the light's kind of zinging in here a little bit. Okay, just kind of like that. Just kind of bringing this up a little bit, maybe that. And you know, it's just little things. Doesn't have to be exact like I'm doing, just, you know, however. Okay, I want to put a little bit of this in here as well. So you can mess with this to any degree that you want, however you want to do it. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and clean this brush again to get that dark value out of there. I'd like to do, and here's a little trick I want to show you guys, and maybe you already know this, I don't know, but I'm going to take a little magenta and a little orange, and when I do that, watch, it just makes this like really vibrant, kind of neon like orange, and I can get some yellow to it, and now I get some titanium white, kind of mix those together. I get this more vibrant tone, see that? And this is going to look really nice. Okay, just a little bit of paint. And I want to go down in here a little bit, okay? I want to get this kind of vibrant glow. See that? Yeah, that's what I want right there. This nice vibrant stuff. It really enhances the glow of the sun and just really brings us in. Gives it that really awesome shine. Okay, just like this. You see, it just kind of lights it up, I think. It does something there. Something super duper cool. I love it. And I kind of want to do this little halo here, right there. See that? Where the light's just kind of coming in right there. A little bit of paint left on the brush. I'm going to sneak some of that in over here, maybe a little bit, yeah. Okay, there's a little bit coming through this way. There's a little bit here. Okay, wherever. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and clean this brush. Okay, I want to continue on with this, and I want to go another coat and some more stuff, of course, building up the layers. So I'm going to go with some yellow, and let's go into some of this green. Maybe titanium white, maybe just a little bit. I'm looking for this vibrant stuff again. Okay, where the light's really hitting right in here in these areas. And of course, I'm going to add some of these things in like this. Okay, just kind of this. Let's see. I want to get a little bit more yellow into that. Okay, not so saturated. And let's see, let's go in here with some of that. Okay, wiping some of that paint off, you can see it's a little bit heavy right there. Okay, and look, I can fill this in now that it's dry. All these holes here that I didn't get to fill in on that first layer there. Okay, just like that. Okay, just making these little gaps in here, leaving some of this dark open in here. Okay, just like this. All right. And let's see, I want to go. Okay, so you can see some grass, but it's in a bokeh way, of course, like I said. Okay, I'm actually going to clean this brush now. I'm going to try this flat brush here, this number 6 nylon flat brush, and it's going to help me get into smaller areas, and I'm going to use it like a natural bristle brush in a way. Okay, not really. Not going to put it in focus. Okay, let's get a little yellow and white into that. Okay, something like this, a little bit lighter of a green tone like that. Okay, and then just want to go in here and just kind of work some of this in. Okay, use my finger if I want to kind of settle down and make those fuzzy edges. Okay, I want some of this to be a little bit more in focus than this stuff, but not really too much. And this little flat brush will help me to do that. And it is dry, so it does have sort of a faded look to it. It's not like a super hard crisp line as if I had a little water on it, so I'm still getting it somewhat in focus. Okay, so this is how I can also make something look not as out of focus and kind of give this difference in between here and really bring this up and give it some more kind of pop and contrast features and some interest to the eye. Okay, by doing this. And I hope that you guys following along, this is going well for you. Let me know in the comments how it's going. Pray that it is. That's my hope and my dream, is to unlock the artist and help improve anything that maybe you didn't realize you had or could do. Okay, so I'm just doing some yellow and white without cleaning. I'm getting this more brighter color here. And let's see, I want to go, what I want to do is go wipe some of that paint off the brush. And I want to go like this. Okay. Just again, hashing randomly. Grass, it doesn't have a direct rule, I don't think. So I'm just going to randomly just hash in these things. Maybe there's some bent over like that. Maybe there's some sticking straight up. Maybe there's some to the side. I don't know. All right, I'm just going to take some of this value and I'm going to go in here, as you see here. Okay, little light zinging through there. See that when you add these light values in here a little bit, it kind of does something. Okay, even with this nylon brush, I wanted to show you too, you could do this all with a nylon brush. It's just, you just a little bit of pressure, a little bit of paint, dry brush again, and you can really come in here and do some wonderful, really cool things. And it doesn't always have to be a natural bristle brush, but the thing about the natural bristle brush is you don't have to try. You can just totally do it. But this one takes a little bit more finesse. You gotta, like I said, kind of pet the canvas like this. Okay, see that? And it's just, you know, one of those things where you got to use them differently. Okay, all good. Use the brush you want. Maybe you don't like natural bristles. Maybe it's all about the nylon brushes, or maybe the other way around. It's up to you. Okay, I'm going to add some of this lighter value in here because I want to enhance where the light's really zinging off right here. See this? I'm just kind of stirring it up. See that? When I stir it, it makes those out of focus fuzzy lines as if it were a natural bristle brush. And I can zing in this highlight right here where the light's hitting this area there. And actually, you know what? I want to saturate that a little bit more. I want this green kind of, there we go, something like that. I don't want it super light. This is kind of in the shadow. Okay, so I've added some green. And maybe a little bit more. There we go. See that? Okay. Just grabbing some other green off my palette that I had that's more saturated, less white. And it's got that nice little tone to it. Okay. Kind of something like that. And let me see. What now is I'm going to take maybe just some lighter green. Just kind of lay this in. I don't know, something like this. Okay, kind of back here a little bit. I don't know. Leaving these openings, like I said, kind of going over these things here that I did. And that just kind of blends them in some more. See that? You can totally do this. Just like so. Maybe got a little clumped up there. And again, I can break up this with dark background or other tones of green. Okay, just kind of playing back and forth, doing it until I like what I see. It's all good. Just background again. I'm going to clean this brush just because I don't want it to dry out on me. What I want to do is add some really bright little touch-ups here and there on some of the grass. So I'm going to get some more white and some of that yellow. Okay. And again, wiping a lot of that paint off the brush, and I just want to hit some of these things. Okay, let me wipe that off some more. Just a little bit of paint. Okay, see this? Just adding some glow. All right, I'm actually going to switch brushes because for me, the bristles are a little long. And when bristles are too long and not so close to the brush, like they're kind of way up here, I like them down a little bit shorter. It's just easier to work with, I think, and to really, it's just easier to work with, and it's really just one of those preferences that I have. Okay, again, use the brush you're comfortable with. I'm just showing different ways to use brushes. I'm also experimenting with different brushes. Even if I have one that works, I want to try different ones anyways, just to have more variety and more options available. I think that's a good thing. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and try this natural number 4 natural flat bristle brush. Kind of go in there and do some things. Okay, I'm going to take some yellow. Okay, and a little bit of white into that. There's a little bit of that green hue in there. And I just want to sparkle up just some of this. Yeah, see this? Like this. Okay, where light's really hitting it. And let's see. Maybe I'll get a little bit more yellow in there. There we go. Yeah, I like that right there. See that? Okay. Let's see. Over just some of this. Okay, so it looks like something's hitting it. I'm going to put some of that here. Let's see. Let's go. Okay, little highlights. Okay, the sun's kind of bouncing off some of this stuff here. Okay, I don't want to do it all because I want to show more shadow over here, but just some little sneakers here and there. Okay, just a few, not too much. If I get too carried away again, I'll cover them back with that other value. Okay, and it's all good. See, I can use this too to get that same out of focus effect, and I don't have to really think about how to use it. I'm just using the edge of it and getting those kind of sharp blade kind of shapes here. Okay. And of course, when I get the bubbles up here and all those details, all of this is going to get pushed back anyways, and so the eye is going to be really distracted by the bubbles. But the thing is, they're going to pop so well, all the in focus details and all the reflections off them against this out of focus stuff. So really, this is just a backdrop to get the bubbles to pop. But this looks cool too, just looking at it. So I kind of want to get in here and just kind of detail it up. All right, so what I'm going to do now, I'm going to grab a little orange, a little yellow, a little burnt umber. Okay, just a little bit, some white. Let's go into this green value too. Okay, I want to mix some of this stuff in just a little bit. And I want a subtle hint of this orange in there, just a bit. And as you can see right here, just kind of mixing these light tones of green and just a little bit of orange, and I can get that little sneak of some of this ray of sunshine kind of glowing off of it here in the background. So I'm just gonna do something like this. Okay, just gonna get these things to kind of sneak out and be in this kind of a place here. You see that? Just a subtle hint of that orange. That's all I want. You definitely do what you want to do with yours. Make as much or less glow or subtlety or whatever you want to do. Okay. Just playing these in. Okay, I've got my really small number 2 round natural bristle brush. I'm going to make some smaller stuff here with some bokeh light stuff. And I'm going to take, again, some of this yellow, some of this white. Okay, a little bit more white. I want this kind of bright. Okay, a little bit of paint on the brush, and I'm going to go in here. I'm going to start putting these bokeh sunlight kisses all up in here. Okay, just kind of like this. I'm going to take a little bit of this orange, some of this white. Okay, it's off that vibrant orange with that light magenta. And I want to go in here and work some of this in. Yeah, just like that. See that? These orange glows here. Let's see, let's get some titanium white. Make these really bright ones. And right in here, I want to go super bright like that, okay? And I do that maybe. I do. Okay, I don't know. Let's get a little bit more of this. And I'm going to continue, let's see, kind of down in here. Right, and I'm going to get a little bit more white, and I actually want to get, let's see, I'm going to continue actually with this. It's got a little bit of that orange and yellow in there, just a teeny bit. It's mostly white. I'm going to keep going with this, and I'm just going to do this, these little things here. Okay, maybe I'll put a little bit of that right here, just a little striker. Just kind of fade it off right there. Okay, I don't know. Just these little subtle things, I'm telling you, they do wonders. Okay, and okay, I'm going to take some of this. I'm going to take just a little bit of blue. Just a teeny bit of phthalo blue. So this is like a reflective color. Okay, just a teeny bit, not much. Blue will eat up all and everything if you let it. Okay, just a teeny bit of paint. And I kind of want to go right in here because I want to do kind of the striker little thing here. I don't know, just kind of shows light, just kind of really zinging right there. Okay, I'm going to get a little bit more white. And let's go. There we go. Okay, a little pressure. I'm just kind of fading this off, dusting it off. Okay. Some kind of light just kind of playing right there, just kind of doing some kind of, I don't know, zing. Some zing zing. All right. Now, without cleaning, I'm going to take again some more of this orange and magenta and yellow and white. Okay, something like that again to get that orangey glow color. And I want to go again into some of this. You just kind of bounce this around. Let's see, maybe there's a very distinct one right here. Okay, little things like that. Okay, I want to enhance these a little bit. I just want to take some more titanium white into that orange value, just a little bit. Okay, and just want to go in here and make some of these more opaque ones like this. See this? Just adding some more light in here. See that? Okay, how about that? Just ramps it up. Gives it shine, pop, all that stuff. Okay. Okay. Thinking something like that. And I'm going to clean this brush now. I want to just pop some ones out in the bushes above. So I'm going to take some, just a little bit of white and some yellow. And once again, I want to do these little guys here. So we got a really bright one there. Maybe another one right there. Okay, so I'm going to take my angle brush here. This is a 3/4 or actually a 1-inch angle brush. And I'm going to use this to trace out my bubbles. So I'm just going to take a little white, okay, just like that. We're going to get a little bit more water on it. Okay. Okay. Getting a nice chiseled edge on that. See that? I'm going to use the corner of this brush, the very tip of it. And I'm going to put this right about here for mine. Okay, definitely put yours where you want to put them. And just going to kind of do something like this. Okay, something like that. I can always critique it if it's not perfect. And I want this to overlap just a little bit, and I'm going to have that come into this bubble just a bit. Okay, like that. Again, do however you want to do. You don't have to overlap yours if you don't want to. You don't even have to put 3 bubbles. Maybe you can put 4. Maybe you only want to put 1, maybe 2. Totally do what you want to do. I'm going to go over how I do these bubbles and how I play the colors in and give this pop and shine and all these cool things. Now I'm going to get my smaller angle brush. This is a number 18, and I'm going to start filling in all the different values of the bubbles. I'm going to start just kind of placing these values in here. And what I'd like to do is I'd like to take some phthalo blue, just a little bit of violet to this, okay, and titanium white, not much, just a little bit. Okay, I'm thinking maybe a little bit more white. Let's see, let's go down here with some of that maybe. All right, let me get some more phthalo blue into that. Okay, I'm thinking something kind of like this. This is like my bubble color, I call it. All right, and I'm just gonna kind of block this in. Same with my angle brush, I can get very precise, and I can really kind of take this into here and get everything filled in and blocked in like I want to. Okay, so I'm just gonna do all of it, I think. And I'm not gonna go into here just yet because I don't want to lose that overlap and where that is. Okay, very precise brush. I'm gonna go ahead and clean this. Okay, and so now I want to take some phthalo blue, go a little bit darker. I'm going to take a little raw umber into that. Okay, for a very dark blue. Maybe a little bit more raw umber. Okay, not much, just to darken it. And what I want to do is kind of right in here, just kind of work this darker value in like so. Start to give it that 3D look. Okay, also down here, right above there. Okay, just kind of getting this in here. All right, and also, let's see a little bit down here, a little bit. So with my number 6 nylon flat brush, I want to go in here and start scratching in some other stuff. And I want to take some some light magenta, maybe a little bit of this violet. Okay, and maybe just a teeny bit of white. Okay. Okay, a little bit of paint on the brush, and I want to go just kind of streak in some of this. Okay, actually a little bit more of that color. There we go. I want it to show up some more. And I want to go in here with this to kind of show some reflective light stuff kind of popping through the bubble here a little bit. Okay. Popping through the bubble, no pun intended, I promise. And I'm going to go right here. Okay, just getting this value in, just kind of doing these things. Just kind of adding this value in, it does something, I think. Okay. And let's see, I'm going to go a little bit more of this violet. Now I want some more white. And let's get a clean spot to work here so I don't contaminate this value. Okay. Okay, very little paint on the brush. I just want to streak in some of this stuff down here. Just kind of playing those values in, see that? And let's see, I'm gonna put some of this right up in here. Now, what I want to do without cleaning, I just want to take some raw umber and phthalo blue for that dark Payne's gray or black. And let's go with, I'm going to go some of these tree reflections. So I'm going to follow the curvature of this bubble. And I'm going to go in here like this. I'm just going to bring this across. All right, I'm going to clean this brush actually right now. I want to get this to try to show up a little bit more. I'm going to grab a little bit more of this blue, but I'm going to add some white to it. Okay, and I'm going to go up here. And this is going to help to pop those tree reflections out of here. Okay, and I'm going to go in here too with some of that. Also down here a bit. Okay. Okay. There we go. Okay. And now again, I want to take some of this magenta, light magenta here, I should say. Okay, no cleaning. And I'm going to put some of this down in here, yeah, like that. See that? Okay. I'm also going to run some of this value in here. And I'm going to put some of that also in here. Okay, I'm going to clean my brush. All right, I'm going to take some more of this blue. Let's see, let's get some more phthalo blue into that. There we go. And going to, let's see, kind of go around some of this. Okay, let me go into some more blue here. Okay, not quite as dark, or I'm sorry, not quite as bright. And I want to do something like this, just kind of fade this off. Okay. I'm going to go ahead back into that raw umber and phthalo blue for that really dark value again. Okay, and I'm going to go, once again, just kind of show these trees up here. See that? Okay, something like this, see that? Now we've got some tree foliage happening here. Okay. And while I got this color on my brush, while I got it going, I'm going to, let's see, let's also get up here. Actually, I'll get to that in just a moment. But I want to go over here and just a little bit of paint on the brush. I don't want this quite as dark. I like to take a little bit of this in yellow and some of this light magenta. Okay, and now I'll wipe most of that paint off my brush. I just want to get a good scoop of white on that. Okay, just kind of something like this, that orangey kind of color. And I want to go in here and just kind of show this little blend here. Really want to get that in there, involved really well. Okay, I'm going to get that same value. Okay, just like that. And let's see, let's go back in here. There we go. I want to make this pop and shine super bright. Okay, also right in here. And also in here. Okay, I'm going to clean that brush. I'm going to get some of this and some of that light magenta, mostly white, okay, kind of like that. And I really want to hit this bright, bright spot right there. Bam. A little bit more orange into this. There we go. I don't want it super bright just yet, but I'm going to get to it. Okay, and oh, actually the grass is like right here. So I'm going to have this actually go about right there and just kind of break it up to show the background here. Okay, see that? And now what I want to do is I want to take some of this green, take some blue and some yellow. Okay, just kind of something like this. I want to grab, let's see, let's go a little bit of raw umber into that. Okay, something like that. I'm going to go just kind of add this shadow through the reflector, or through the transparency of this here. See that? Okay. So now we see the grass a little bit. Maybe I'm going to work some of this in here a little bit. I don't know. Okay, so I'm going to clean this brush. And let's see, I'm going to get some magenta and some yellow, or sorry, some orange and some light magenta and titanium white. Okay, because what I want to do is actually go in here, get this more vibrant in here. See that? And let's see, I'm gonna kind of do this number here. Kind of working those in there, see that? Okay. And also up here, I'm going to get this. And also right in here. And maybe just a little bit right in here. Not much, just to kind of and let's see, I'm going to put some of this right in here to kind of show some reflections from the other stuff. Reflecting that. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and get some titanium white. It's got a teeny bit of that vibrant magenta in there. Not much though. Okay, and I'm going to go right here. Okay, I'm going to pop and shine this really good and really bright here. All right, let me get this side here. Okay. And also, let's get that zinging off down here a little bit, yeah. Okay. Just gonna okay. And we get some of this bright highlight in there, maybe, yeah, a little bit there. A little bit in here, maybe. Okay, maybe up here. Okay. Let's see now. Some of that in here. All right, let's see. Now what I want to do, let's take a little bit more white. Okay, just pure titanium white. I really want to solidify this right here, make it really opaque and very bright. Something like that. Okay, just gonna sort of run this in a little bit, yeah, like that. Okay. I'm going to pick up some of this orange and magenta color here. Okay, some of this yellow. Okay. And let's see, I want to go just kind of pet this on the outside like this. See this? Just kind of run this like this. Okay, something like that. Now I want to take a little bit of this magenta and some of this, and now I want to take a little red. Okay, just a little bit, something very fiery. Okay, something like that, because what I want to do now, just a little bit of paint on the brush. I want to go right here, and I want to do this little deal here. Just kind of do something like this. See that? Like this. Just kind of put that like that, and then without cleaning, I want to take titanium white. Let's see, just a little bit of paint on the brush. I want to go right in here, and I want to zing out these little bright little deals here. See that? I'll go back into that again. Okay, that really firecracker like value here, and just want to go like this. Right, and maybe I'll work some of that right in here, just a little bit. Okay, just kind of like that. And now, again, I just want to take a little titanium white, no cleaning. And I just kind of want to drag this in. Okay, just kind of like this. Okay, I like that, something like that. And I'm gonna fade this off. Just kind of, I don't know, something like this. Okay, this little sun ray thing here happening. And now a little bit of that right here. Maybe a little bit right there. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna clean this brush. I'm gonna take my number 2 little small nylon flat brush and get more detailed in here. And I'm just gonna take pure titanium white. And right here, super bright. Okay, and I don't want to take over all this value, of course. Just want to go and fade it off like this. See that? Maybe in here a little bit. And just a teeny bit in those sun rays. Okay, see that? Like that. And maybe I'll put a little bit of this in here as well. Okay, how about that? Something like that. I want to put some of that in here. I want to go actually a little bit of this magenta. Okay, just a teeny bit. And I want to go. So now I'm going to take just pure titanium white again with my number 6 nylon flat brush here, and I'm going to go right there, really, really bright. Okay, see, like that, another striker. A lot of that paint off the brush, and I just want to go in here. See, I want to take a little bit of this magenta and orange. Okay, just a little bit, and I want to go kind of into this white a little bit with that. Surround it and gives it a real nice glow and a shine that's coming through off of it like that. See that? Okay, now no cleaning again. I'm just going to take titanium white again, my brightest spot right here, and I'm just going to do these little zingers like this. See this? Okay, how about that? Something like that. I just want to surround it. See, it just gives that glow and that pop off of it. Okay, and also, all right, so it looks like it's got a nice glow and a shine to it like that. See that? Okay, gonna clean this brush off again. And once again, I want to get titanium white. I really want to brighten this up, just really right here in the center. I don't want to take it any further than this. Here, I'll lose that glow with all that other color surrounding it. See, just like that. Look how that just pops out of there. Isn't that nice? And also right here. Kind of like that, and also up here. Okay, and now, again, I want to take that dark background color, the yellow, the raw umber, and I want to hide this line here. That's really going to help this bubble look more transparent like that. See that? Kind of like this. Okay. And maybe I'll have this in here too. Just a little grass reflection in there. See that? Okay. Something of that nature there. Okay, so with lots of water and titanium white, I'm going to go ahead and take my script liner brush, pull them through as I turn it to a sharp point. And let's see, I'm going to go ahead and sign, I think, right here in this area. Okay. And once again, I want to thank you so much for following along, and I hope this lesson was clear. I know that I had a few little things that I had to fix along the way, but that's acrylic painting for you, especially when you do freestyle. It's just going to go maybe off sometimes a little bit, but it can always be brought back from where it was or improved on, or more layers, something covered up if you don't like it. And it's all good. So as you can see, another painting with bokeh and in focus stuff contrasting, some lights and shadows. We got the glow of the sun coming in, zinging off the bubbles here. And it's really just putting paint where it goes and blending out and having colors surround white to get that glow. And it's just a real simple, easy, forgiving painting. You can cover anything up. You've got all this dark background to work with, and it's all good. So totally go for this. Let me hear your questions in the comments down below. And if you're new, please do me a favor and subscribe. This really helps me to keep making content and bringing these lessons. And I really enjoy painting with all of you, and I appreciate all of you so much. And with that said, I want to wish you well and a happy painting to you.